Yeah, those facilitators aren't too slouchy.
Oh. Yeah. The next thing down on the list was you're speaking about the game of agreements and
Yeah.
knowing, keeping us in agreement.
Yeah.
And I apologize to this entire group, and I apologize to you that I caused 2 other people to be late because of my own ignorance.
Great. Acknowledge. What I'll say about that is that over the last 40 some odd years, my education about the power of agreements has grown exponentially. And I honestly, even with the advanced leaders, the people who are going to be coaches for, if you want to be one of my breakthrough leaders or a seminar leader or that kind of stuff, the first program you do after Movement to Mastery is the leaders program for the people who are going to be coaches for you guys. The big brothers, the big sisters for this, because they've been through the program and all that. And it's interesting that even in my leadership programs, until somebody gets to the level of seminar leader, I can't really teach them all the stuff about agreements. I don't have time to include all that because I could literally do 2 days of nothing but agreements. It's that amazing and powerful. So suffice it to say that if you can take it on faith, just understand that it's very hard for anybody to get me to make an agreement. Because I know that once I do that, of course I can always renegotiate. Go back to them and say, does it work for you to let me out of this? But if they can't renegotiate, if it doesn't work for them to let me out of it, I'm going to move mountains to make that thing happen. Because I understand how much it costs me when I don't. And it took me years to get the relationship between my own doubts and fears and how self-conscious I was compared to when I kept my agreements and I was clear. It's really amazing. Thank you, Joel. Acknowledge. Okay, somebody else. Okay, Kira.
During the criticism part yesterday, I got criticism that to let my feminine beauty shine.
Yeah.
And I really took it to heart today.
Yeah,
It looks wonderful.
Yeah.
beautiful.
Good
You were
job.
successful.
Yeah.
Good job.
Awesome.
By the way, I want to say for people who don't know, on several of our Pinnacle of Presentation courses, we've hired Gail to come in because she's an expert at makeovers. And, she'll take somebody in the group and she'll make them over and the room is like, it's a miracle. And you've probably seen it on TV and Oprah and different things like that, And I was telling people the other day how many years it took her to convince me to do more expensive shoes, because in the beginning I couldn't see the difference between expensive shoes and floor shines. You know what I mean? I couldn't see the difference. So I'm just letting you know, in case anybody wants to get really expert advice on hair, clothing, colors, all that stuff, she's great.
She's the one who gave me that advice too.
Good. Somebody else.
Can I just add one
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
One of my favorite times was I took a girl, which I had pictures, man. I took a girl that was in the workshop and took her overnight. And anyway, she came in and no one knew. They thought it was a totally different person.
They didn't even recognize her.
So awesome.
Cool. That's great. That's great. Acknowledge. There was a group called Belviso, and it makes me sad that when the person who invented it died, there was only about 4 trainers who kind of knew everything she knew. And I don't know that any of them are still doing that, but it was a phenomenal technology where they would hold up little swaths of color up to your face. They go like this. Nope. Yes. No, and when they were done, they'd have a fan of colors, and they could tell if you were high contrast or low contrast, whether you were muted or bright, and based on your skin color, when they got done with the fan, they would tell you about yourself, and it was like a psychic who knew every detail of your life.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. Okay. And they thought that colors never change. It was like a fingerprint, right? And then people did the awakening, and they started coming back and saying, I don't think my colors fit for me anymore. They go, well, that's impossible. And then they look at the colors and they say, how did you change on a cellular level?
Wow.
That was great. Okay, somebody else. Another principle, Holly.
Show up and shine.
Yes. How was your interview yesterday?
Awesome. And I was able to hone in on it. What really struck me is the person who triggers me the most is the one who reflects back what I am afraid I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was able to put a one-word statement underline of deficient, that kind of all-encompassed what I had felt about her, and then it's like,
Right.
oh gosh, that's what I'm afraid I am, and that was really monumental.
Yeah. Way to go. Acknowledge. Jamie.
I think you said this, but what I got out of it, if not, was don't be emotionally constipated.
Yeah.
Not that I would understand that.
Yeah. Right. Well, your new skill yesterday was a perfect demonstration, And I can't even tell you how excited I am, because I can see what you're going to be like after movement to mastery. And I'll tell you, good example, just the opportunities that will show up in your business.
Cool.
Not even your love life. It's amazing. I'm telling you, you talk about intimacy, you talk about an entirely new level of sex life. Whoa. Now we're talking
You're talking.
incentive.
Why did you say it all along?
Incentive.
Chosen in.
Yeah.
Where do I sign?
Sign him up for the awakening.
Give me someone to have sex with, and then I'll get excited about it.
Okay, acknowledge. Okay, somebody else. Okay, Renee.
Mel Wasserman's quote, opportunity is like a train pulling into the station. The real question is, what if you miss the ride?
That's right. You can always get off to the next station and say, well, it wasn't really my cup of tea, But, it's sad for me that I see so many people in workshops like this. Well, for example, I'll do a speaking engagement, and only a small percentage of those people will sign up for something, like a Tat with Tides or whatever. And then they'll take something like a relationships course or something, and then a very small percentage of those will sign up for whatever, the next workshop or the awakening or whatever. And then a small percentage of those will do movement to mastery. And it's sad to see how people are so deathly afraid of facing that there might be something wrong with me, that they'd rather live that life that they're very familiar with rather than take a chance. Maybe I'm okay. Okay, acknowledge. Leslie.
Life is either a daring adventure or nothing.
Helen Keller. One of my favorites. Acknowledge. That movie about Helen Keller, the original, is still one of my all-time favorite movies when she gets it. And, she went through college and did all this great stuff and was a speaker. Unbelievable life. Linda.
Okay. The one that was focusing on watering the tree of life, not just eating the fruit.
Yeah.
And now I want to share this. Okay, so I've been the waffling, and then this morning, it's human nature. A lot of times we do something for other people before we do it for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, you know what? This is really Gary Acevedo's School for Coaches. And you get to go through and experience this stuff. If you're interested in being a coach or a mentor, you're learning the tools. And I thought, wow, that's awesome. I could go to the school for coaches. Instead of thinking about myself, I'm thinking, this could be, what a great school for coaching. So,
Cool.
new perspective, and all of a sudden it just, bling,
You know, I should have
You
said
get
that.
bought in.
I should have said that from the beginning, because from your point of view, you're doing movement to mastery because there's one dream that you really want to focus on. You want unprecedented movement in. But my purpose is to create coaches, healers, facilitators, leaders, speakers,
yeah.
people who change people's lives. So really, my design of movement to mastery, from my point of view, is that I'm going to try to get you to be one of the best influencers, leaders, coaches, healers, whatever, in the country, and to make darn good money at it. You
It's
know,
always nice to make darn good money. You know, not just money, but darn good money. Yeah.
let me tell you, it doesn't hurt my feelings when someone comes in and pays me $200 or $300 or $500 an hour. It never hurts my feelings.
Hard to believe.
Or if a company wants to pay me $5,000 a day, I don't care.
Trust me.
Yeah, take one for the team.
Acknowledge.
There is this is not a reality. There is just quantum soup, and as we think, our thoughts create a reality.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you understand how profound it is that in the last 25 years, quantum physics has determined that nothing exists except when you look at it, you create it. I mean, they've proven that quanta blink in and out of existence according to whoever's looking. So if you watch the movie What the Bleep Do We Know, they show a little kid at a basketball court, and behind him there's like 50 balls bouncing. Then he turns around and there's one ball. Because that's what he's thinking. And that's reality. They now know that. Matter of fact, the guy Carl Pribram, who invented the mathematical formula that made laser beams possible, once they had laser beams, they could create holograms. Now, a hologram, like let's say you take a picture of a chair, and then you have a photograph that's a hologram. So you take a hammer and you break it into 1,000 pieces, and you shine the laser through any one of those pieces. It recreates the entire chair from the angle it was in the original photograph. And then he started wondering if the brain was a hologram. And then he got, yeah, it is. And then he started wondering, what if the universe is a hologram? Which means that every part in the universe contains the whole. Every atom, every molecule, every cell is a universe. You are a universe, and the entire universe is one you.
You're hurting me.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry.
Another way of saying that is that there's nobody out there. That's me, and that's me, and that's me, in that body, in that sex, with that history. It's all me. Okay, another principle.
Wait, John.
No. Huh?
Sure.
Yeah.
So yesterday when we went over the emotional black holes and I was saying I'm toxic and I attract non-working relationships, I had a conversation with a person I had an agreement with last night, and I renegotiated that agreement so it's no longer toxic to me, and I feel completely free right now.
Beautiful. Fantastic. So remember I said, every time you take a step toward love and light, whether it's drawing your boundaries or saying no or honoring your truth, Kevin changed everything in all the universes forever. Nothing can ever be the same because he did a step toward love and light. And that's what we're doing. We are, as we rise and as we grow, we are transforming physical matter into light with every step. Way to go, Kevin. Good job.
Without a higher purpose, you are a victim of your circumstances.
Yep. Yep. I have to wait till the last day of the awakening to do that, the longer version of that little thing I gave you a taste of yesterday. Because there are certain processes that if you did them at the beginning of a workshop, they would be flat. But after people are blissed out of their mind and high as a kite, if you do certain processes, they get it at the level it deserves. Like in the spirit workshop, those of you who took spirit, you remember I didn't really do the power of infinite progression, that visualization, that talk until the very end of spirit, after connected breath, after the ropes course, after the fire walk. Because then you come in 3 feet off the ground, now it has its proper power.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the awakening. I don't do that talk about the art and science of higher purpose until you're at the end of phase 2. You know, good job, knowledge. Somebody else. Okay, Jamie.
For a few months, wouldn't it be nice to have a commitment to your dreams?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. I love that thing about God gives you a choice. The greatness of your dreams or your petty hang-ups. Ooh, that's a tough one. Acknowledge. Okay, Susan.
Back on higher purpose. When you're living your higher purpose, people and resources come to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I love some of Deepak Chopra's stories about how, I think Maharishi had said, come over and do this. And he said, talk to the president. And he's like, well, how do I get in to see the president? You know? So then he gets on a plane and he happens to be sitting right next to the guy who's supposed to make a presentation to the president of India. And he goes, look, I really don't know what to do with my presentation. Can I do something short and have you talk to the president?
Wow.
I understand there are thousands of stories like that. Almost every famous person in my field has great stories like that where something synergistically fell into place, including me. We all have, because once you take on a higher purpose, you're aligned with God. And God wants good stuff to happen. So if you're doing good stuff, okay, let's get you some support. Hey, God brought me Richard. Do you mind if I share?
No, that's fine.
Okay, and so he's going to invest.
Nice.
We're going to put some money down to start hiring somebody to start setting up speaking engagements.
Cool.
By the way, if you think you're really good at that, it's a pretty easy job. Talk to me because we're going to pay somebody. Actually, we're going to pay several people.
Could you explain a little bit more what the job would be? Setting them up, calling?
First of all, you brainstorm a list of everybody that you think might want a speaker. Then you call them up and say, hey, do you have speakers talk to your group ever? They go, yes or no. Say, great, if you do, I want to send you some stuff on the email so you can see this great speaker that I'm doing this for. And then we'll follow up with you. Then they look at it, you call them a week later, you say, did you look at that material? What do you think? Great, let me give you Gary's number, you can call him and schedule. Pretty easy. Okay, acknowledge. So,
This really touched me. Being a gift of service is the greatest gift.
yes. Yes. Good job, acknowledge. Kevin.
This is one I got to work on more and more. Just the exercise of what does this barrier cost you, and what do you notice about that?
That's right.
I learned slow. Once I learn it, it's like I want 20 of these, I want 20 of those.
Yeah, I got it. It's great. You know what I love about that the most is that people work so hard to make certain changes because they don't understand the easy way is to simply reprogram your brain. To simply link up as much pain as you can to the thing that doesn't work and link up as much pleasure as you can to the new ways, the new skills.
Smoking.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't wanna pay, the tobacco companies have known this forever. You know, I mean, it's linking up what's gonna work in my brain.
Right. It's now been proven that, I mean, they knew this a long time ago with the tobacco companies, but it's now being proven that almost every food manufacturer designs their food to be addictive.
The companies that now own Nabisco and
Yeah.
all these others, they're
Right.
RJ Reynolds. I mean, they just,
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, regardless of what you want to change, if you link up a lot of pain to the old way and a lot of pleasure to the new skill, you don't have to work so hard to change it. Your body will change it automatically.
Yeah.
I love that. Fantastic. Okay, Jason.
Focus on watering the tree of life, and you will be, I guess, harvesting the fruits.
That's right. Right. One of my favorite guys in history, Jesus, said, you know, focus on spiritual and you will be blessed abundantly. And he didn't say when you die and go to heaven, he said now. Yeah.
First of all, I want to acknowledge Renee and how wonderful your presentation is today. Renee, Susan.
Thank you.
Wow.
I know you're looking
Yeah,
this
too.
Wow.
Renee,
Susan,
too.
I really
I like
want
your
to
brown
acknowledge
Renee.
you, and I love your very finished, nice.
I do too.
Yeah.
Good job. Way to go.
Secondly, yeah.
And I like the way Renee looks too.
Okay, so understanding agreements, a couple of them are, we went over those yesterday, we went over 8 of them to memorize. And, that complaints are a contribution, go straight to the source.
Yep, go straight to the source. I love it when I say to somebody, you might not want to keep talking to me because I will go tell them who said it and what you said. And that shuts them up real quick. Okay, last one.
One point that came across me very well yesterday is when you were talking about how people spew, and number one, if you're gonna rant and rave, you need to ask somebody. It'd be nice to ask somebody if they'll listen to you when you're doing that. But the thing is, it makes me realize that in my isolation, and if you need a person, you can't. For me, I need. It's not just writing it down or yelling it to the walls or whatever. It does help to have a person that is listening somewhere, but I haven't done that. I haven't had that for a very, very long time.
Yes.
And I can feel it, and it's just like, it was a relief to have you say that out loud, that spewing is not welcome, and that it is right to pick up the phone and talk to somebody, and to have the human acknowledgement, the human factor.
Somebody gets it.
Yes.
Right.
And that was very important to me.
Beautiful. Fantastic acknowledgement. By the way, keep in mind if you're signing up in Movement to Mastery, between now and the post meeting, you want to decide who you're willing to have as your phone buddy and make that happen. Because those are going to be incredibly important relationships. Okay? Do me a favor, I have a request. It's a personal request from me. I would love everybody to like us on Facebook, Rise Leadership Group. I don't understand social network marketing, but I understand from everybody who tells me about marketing that that's essential these days.
And Google Plus.
And Google Plus. So if you would be willing to, would you please write it in your day timer right now as something you can do tomorrow or Monday so that we can get the word out and spread and reach more people, okay?
You're on Google Plus?
Huh?
Gary?
Huh?
Rise Leadership's on Google Plus. Is it?
Thank you.
You betcha.
See, even we did it.
Rise Leadership and maybe 3 other people are.
Okay, I used to do a thing that was like a good Zen master would do, but I've since dropped it So instead of actually doing it, I'm going to tell you about it so you can get the point of it at least, okay? A good Zen master is never afraid to hit his students with a stick when they need to make a point and the student needs to learn, okay? And they're also famous for tricking or lying or whatever they got to do to get the student to learn, okay? A Zen master, that's what they're famous for. So here's what I used to do. I used to say, who is signed up for Movement to Mastery, but is having second thoughts or doubts about whether or not it was the right thing to do, right? And somebody will always raise their hand. And I say, good, I'm going to make your decision for you. You don't get to do it this year. Next year, if you're solid and you really are committed, then you can consider doing it next year, but you get to wait a year before you get to do it. And I would keep a straight face, and everybody would go, and then the person would go, but, I'd go, why should I let you do it? You already signed the contract, you made a commitment, and now you're backtracking? And it would really make the point that, you know, if I took it away, what would you be missing? A lot. But I'm a little nicer, so I don't do that.
Getting softer in your old age.
Huh?
Getting softer in your old age.
Older age. Not old age, just older age.
Yeah.
Good answer.
You know how I knew that my generation would never get old? I think I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I saw Mick Jagger on TV, and I just got it. It's like, man, that guy will never get old. I knew my generation would never get old.
You don't have high definition TV.
Hey, we still have VHS tapes back there. So again, the power of structure. How vital is the type of structure that you create for your new company, your team, your family, a relationship with yourself? Do you want a structure that will be haphazard or impeccable? When it's important to get off the ground, what is the quality of structure that you desire? So, Gary, let's get Miracle ready. And when you recorded that, did you record the part about again and then the ending, or just one scene?
It's whatever you had on the VHS tape.
I don't think it was ever on. Maybe it was. I don't know. If it was on, it probably had both parts. Let's go ahead and take a chance and see it. So during this video, this is a true story of the greatest sports event of the last century, according to most sports authorities, because America had won something like 20 years before this, the Olympics in hockey. And every year, everybody knew that the Russians were going to win. I mean, that was just taken for granted. And it would be the equivalent today of a high school team beating a professional team. Because that's how they were rated and ranked and all that stuff, you know. But this coach had been dropped from his Olympic team, and he was the last person to be dropped. He didn't get to go. So he had something to prove to himself. So he created this team. And the question I want you to ask yourself during the video is, what level of impeccability do you want your coach to be? What level of coaching do you desire? Okay, go. This is the end. I know this is the end. I want the end. I'll get the DVD. Hold off, and I'm going to get him the DVD so he can find it, and then we'll do some other stuff. Yeah.
Quick share.
Yeah.
This is a good time. So I've just, when you were talking about the Zen master.
Yeah.
Never afraid to hit their students with a stick and what's needed.
Yeah.
When I was in China, we stayed at the second oldest Zen monastery there, and the abbot who would teach us during the days, and on our way to the monastery, about like 5 hours into the mountains, we picked up this man along the way who was just the sweetest, kindest, softest face, so talkative, and we dropped him off at another location. When we got to the monastery and the abbot was teaching us some techniques in Zen meditation, he said, "Remember that man we picked up? Well, at the other monastery that this abbot is in charge of, he is the Zen meditation master, and his job is to walk around the room, and if any of the monks, if their elbow twitches, he smacks them. And he's known throughout China for his strictness in that system." And in the abbot telling us that story, and then us going into our meditation, he said, "If any of you don't take this seriously, we'll call him and have him come here." And I tell you, we didn't move an inch in that room. And every time I do that meditation, I take it so seriously.
Right.
Because of
Right.
the story, that was the stick.
That's right.
That's all it took.
That's right. And that story demonstrates two things: support and structure. Because if you look in the area of sports, if you look at any of the best sports stories, there's always a coach behind it. You know, Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, quit when his coach quit. That's how much he realized the value of a coach. Okay, acknowledge. Just let me know when you're ready, dear, and I'll be doing stuff until you're ready. Okay? We want again first. Okay? Okay, open up your handouts to the page that says sample consequences. Small, medium, large, sample rewards. Small, medium, large.
Here you go. You know that. Yes, I do. Oh, we got the
Or is this just vertical?
No, it's on the vertical.
It's on the vertical. It's on vertical or horizontal?
It's on the vertical.
He's 13 and vertical.
It's in the vertical. It's not in the horizontal.
This one.
Thank you.
I don't know, I think it's 12.
He said 13.
Okay.
13.
We're going to watch the video, and then when we're done the video, we'll answer questions about consequences. Yeah, where you can see the video.
Yeah.
Hold on. Now get back on the ice. Let's go.
What for?
Find out soon enough. Let's go back on the ice. Come on, boys.
Of course. We'll find out in a minute. Won't we? Let's go. Come on.
You guys don't want to work during the game? No problem. We'll work now. Go on. That one. Hats off! Think you can win on talent alone? Gentlemen, you don't have enough talent to win on talent alone. Again. You come here and play the Norwegian national team and tie them, and then go to the Olympics and win? You got another thing coming. You gotta think about something else, each and every one of you. When you pull on that jersey, you represent yourself and your teammates. And the name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back. Get that through your head. Again. Lose or tie, you're gonna play like champions. Again. Kick it yet, Dakota. You wanna go home early? You're going sooner, all the way to the line and all the way back. Not that difficult. Again. Yeah. Again.
Good man. He wants to clean the ice and then go home.
Tell him to leave me the keys, I'll lock up. Again. Again. You keep playing this way, you won't beat anybody who's even good will not play. You want to make this team, and you better start playing at a level that's going to force me to keep you here. Again. Get out of here. Hey, where you going? Back on the line. Again. Send them. Again. Again. I'm not still he's gonna be the first one to put on me. What about you, OC? You ready to go down? I think I got my money on you, Dakota. Of course, you got a hot date in about an hour, but you're not looking too good for that right about now. Are you?
Nah.
Send them. Yeah. This cannot be a team of common men, because common men go nowhere. You have to be uncommon. Again.
This is going on long enough.
Everybody on that line.
Somebody's going to get hurt.
Everybody get on that line. Hey.
make a lot of us. Again.
Michael Rugioni! Winter, Massachusetts!
What do you play for?
Play for United States of America!
That's all, gentlemen.
See, up until that moment, these were the best players from the different colleges. And every time it'd say, who do you play for? They'd say, University of whatever. They didn't get it that they were playing for the United States of America. That's why when he said that, he said, okay, that's it. They're a team. And during the final game, I mean, the big game against Russia, second to the last game, the announcer literally says, I can't believe the Americans are outrunning the Russians. They were in better shape. As soon as you're ready.
And I saw that last.
By the way, Holly Flanders, the mother of Alex, the kid I talked to, the young kid, the 19-year-old, who I had him start winning X Games and getting sponsors and miss the Olympics. She was at one point the winningest woman in America, and she was actually at this game.
As a tiny kid, probably.
No. His mother, Holly Flanders,
Really?
who was in the Olympics,
Right.
and saw this game.
Okay, there we go.
Good.
At this stage on time. No more changes until the next person. When they call me, I want track play.
Yes, we get to be alone so we can better learn. The Olympics in Salt Lake, those players, that team, lit the fire.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
20 years later.
2 days later, the miracle was made complete. My boys defeated Finland to win the gold medal, coming from behind once again. As I watched them out there celebrating on the ice, I realized that Patty knew in my there was a lot more than a hockey game. Not only for those who watched it, but for those who played it. I've often been asked in the years since Lake Placid, what was the best moment for me? I was here. The sight of 20 young men with such differing backgrounds, now standing as one. Young men willing to sacrifice so much of themselves, all for an ennoble. A few years later,
Get a partner, share with your partner. Any thoughts or feelings about that? Go.
Yeah. My best coach was I told him, I told him that I don't want you to be nice to me. I want you to push me hard and you think that I can really push. And when you push that hard, push just a little bit harder. And it worked out. I settled and not on crazy. I was supposed to be basically dividing like I was an and then I hurt myself. I was like, oh, okay.
if I keep going,
The thing that they're, what,
It's kind of like, what do you want?
so, yeah, what, or if I am.
No, I guess I just.
Okay, wrap it up.
Gary?
Hold on. Joe?
I came to Rise Leadership at Magical Realms. I met a group of people here. Gary, Marie. There was a group of people. By that time, in April, was that April or was it March? April. At that time in April, that group of people had begun to become a magnificent team. And their coach, and I got to experience the love and the beauty of seeing 15 individuals become a family. And I knew I wanted to be part of it. And I was not part of that because I was the observer.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Thank you. I want to see this movement to mastery have as much love as they did. And I will support that 100%.
Good job, acknowledge.
Yay.
Okay, open up your sample consequences, small, medium, large, sample rewards. Okay, look those over if you haven't already, and ask me any questions you have about how to design those. When nobody raises their hand, I start to sing.
I haven't heard you sing yet. Yeah.
Oh,
So I don't know, that's like, We've got someone who doesn't want to hear you
Oh,
sing.
good. Say it. Gail.
I do have a question around trying to create a large consequence.
Yeah.
Or a large reward. Rewards are hard for me to come up with. Anyone else? The large reward is I want to do something, go to a spa or go to a vacation, costs money. How do you make a large reward not cost money?
Like for example, on your large rewards, it says planning a pampering party. You know, get some friends to support you and say, you know, would somebody be willing to donate a massage and fix me a bubble bath and you buy the wine or, you know, whatever. You know, that way you're not spending the money, but you're getting something that you might really enjoy. or somebody that is willing to treat you to a weekend vacation somewhere, homestead or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion, maybe volunteering. Could be a large reward, doing maybe a makeover for someone since you enjoy that. You know, spending all day, so it would be rewarding yourself with the gift of giving.
And that depends on if that feels like a real reward.
Right, true.
You know, like you wouldn't want to do it because it seems like something you ought to do or should do or have to do. It would be something that really is fun for you, like that. Okay, Leslie.
Laura was my facilitator yesterday, and she shared something with me about rewards. She said, think about what you want, write them down, and they will come to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and the one thing I want to suggest is you need to ask the little boy or girl inside of you. Because if you try to let the parent part of you think of rewards, they'll think of things you should do or ought to do. If you let the kid inside of you, it'll be like, no, I want this, and I want a mud bath, and I want a red wagon, and, you know.
A red wagon.
I want to go on a balloon ride. I want to fly in an airplane, you know.
Last night I had a foot in my face.
Is this a question?
No,
I don't.
All right.
I'd rather not do a share.
About rewards.
Okay, a question about rewards.
About rewards.
Okay.
Do we make the rewards as large as we make the consequences?
Or larger.
Thank you.
With all of this stuff, the key is going to be, will you apply them? It's easy to put it on your paper that I'll give myself this if I do this. But the biggest pitfall people fall into is then they do the thing and they don't apply the reward. And then the kid inside of you subconsciously knows they can't trust you. So it's like no matter what you put down, they're not going to do it. I know what you're going to do. You're going to screw me over. Why should I do anything if you don't ever give me what I deserve? See what I'm saying? Okay. Any other questions?
For a large consequence, should it be something that is almost appalling to me? Because so of like the ones that you have listed, the one that I could most, like the one that I automatically choose is donating 100 to 500 to the scholarship fund. But that's also something that I would feel good about doing. So is that not a consequence for me then, if it's something that I
No. Consequences can be fun and exciting and stretching and challenging. I'm going to go and sing the national anthem at the food court.
Okay.
That sounds fun. That's a stretch. You know, or, you know, it would be fun for me to treat Gail to weekend at Homestead. You know, it can be something that's fun, but the key is this, okay? It has to be something that gets you to work your plan. That's the real secret. These are just ideas and suggestions. It's just to give you a flavor of the kind of stuff you can think of. But I think that you are all creative enough that you could come up with stuff that we've never even thought of before that could be brilliant and genius. Because it gets you to work your plan. Remember, this is not our game. This is your game. Jamie?
Actually, what you said kind of triggered something. You could partner up with somebody, and their consequences could be your reward, and vice versa.
Yeah. Right.
I
Yeah.
heard one.
Excellent idea. Good.
I was just gonna make a suggestion. I had a girlfriend do this, and she has a shoe fetish, and she loves her shoes. So one of her consequences was, you know, giving up some of her favorite heels or something like that. She's like, I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
It was fun. It was like,
Right.
I'm not gonna give up my shoes.
Right.
You know.
Whereas, you know, if Kevin had to give up some of his high heels, it might not be a big deal.
There's so many.
It's hard to find him in a size 12, though.
Huh?
It's hard to find him in a size 12, though.
That's true. True. Okay, any other questions? Okay.
Question?
Yeah, Gail,
When are we going to be doing our, interview?
at the end of the day, like yesterday.
Are we supposed to have more than one plan? Supposed to have more than one dream, or just one?
No, only one dream at a time. If you create that dream, like I've had people who said, I want to fall in love, and within 2 months they had fallen in love. Now they could get a separate dream. But until you make that dream happen, you focus on that one dream only. It works much better because if you really focus on one, what happens is you got kind of lifted above the clouds, and then all the other things start to tumble over. But if you concentrate on 5, then you don't get much on anything. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, I'm gonna do some more of the quiz before I give you a break. Remember, the context of these agreements is it's a very high-level game, a game called No Exits, a game where your commitment to your vehicle of support is total, okay? So, question number 9. What is the value of turning in excused absences ahead of time? Answer. People who have jobs where they can be called in at any moment create their boss calling them when they want to avoid and when they're not on track. When they're on track, they don't get called. Another answer is and remember, we're going to send you all this, so you're going to have a hard copy. You can look at as much as you want. Another answer, you're responsible for turning in to your movement to manager, team manager, your excused absences by the end of blast off, which is the post meeting. So between now and the post, and if you can turn them in before you leave today, that's fine, that's great. But if you need to look at your calendar for next year and see when your sister's wedding is or whatever, then you need to turn those in no later than the post meeting, or it's not pre-excused. You can't come to me in January and go, oh, I forgot to put this. No.
That's next Saturday, correct?
No, it's next Thursday night.
Thursday. Okay.
Next Thursday night. Please don't tell me I have another Saturday I have to give up.
Sorry.
You are responsible for tuning in by the end of blast off weekend. Okay, number 10. What are the 3 ingredients necessary to get excused from a particular meeting if it's not on your list of excused absences? 3 answers. A, make voice contact, no messages. You can't just call up and go, oh, Gare, listen, I really want to go see my favorite rock band this Thursday. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. You know, no. B, you have to ask them if it works, not tell them that it works. Like in the situation just happened with you guys. From this point on, if you ever try to get excused that late in the game, then the answer will most likely be no.
Understood.
Right? And remember that you can't do that by email alone.
Right, I caught that.
Because I only check my emails when I'm at the office. I don't even have email at home. So, you got to text me, call me, whatever.
Understood.
C, if they don't get that your reason is legitimate, then you're agreeing right now, ahead of time, that you can be counted on to keep your agreement and attend. So Leslie calls me up and goes, Gare, I just had a big fight with Gary, and I just can't come because I'm just so emotional. I'm just devastated. I just can't come tonight. As an example, with that story, I will always say that's the perfect reason why you need to come. Especially because you're triggered, especially because you're emotional, especially because you're irrational. You need to be here and let whatever tonight's content work you through that so you can get through it and get on the other side.
Just this morning, I wanted to call Gary. Because I was like a basket case.
I love it.
Gary Harrison had been processing with me for like 2 hours. And I was a basket case. My face was all swollen, and I couldn't stop crying. I thought, holy shit, I have to pull myself together. We've got 45 minutes. I've got to be there. I've got to be on time. I not only do I not want to be on time, it's late, I don't want to go at all. I saw my black hole. It was just horrible. Ah! It's just how I felt. And it was like, I've got to call Gary. I'm going to call Gary. I'm going to ask him at 100% and tell him how I'm literally just falling apart at the seams. And I looked at my Gary and it was like, it's not going to work. I was here and I was on time. And I'm in purple.
She would have called me and I would have said, let me look and see if I can let you out. No, no. Fat chance. Acknowledge. Linda.
So here's my question. I have a daughter that's expecting a baby the first bit of February, but we know that we can't schedule babies.
Oh darn baby, just come whenever they want to come.
Yes, we can. We scheduled one at the Awakening.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we
That's
did.
true. We set the intention.
My daughter, no. But
Yeah.
since the relationship is repeated again in May, I'm just wondering if something like that would be pre-excusable, or because I have told her she's
Absolutely.
alone. She's alone.
Absolutely. For me, that's an earthquake or a flood.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're not kidding when they said that this gal was going to have to leave to go for her daughter's baby.
Uh-huh.
So we all just set an intention
Not yet.
that the baby would wait.
Mm-hmm.
And the baby did.
It was like
Until
literally
graduation.
graduated,
Until
and an hour after
graduation.
she's like, "Oh, I'm going right now. She just went into labor."
There you go. I love it.
Yay!
You know, if my daughter was here, it'd be different. She's in Georgia, so it's like,
Yeah, I get it.
okay,
Okay, good.
thank you.
Okay, next question. When you ask to be excused, who determines if you can be excused? The answer is the team manager, which will be either Casey or Carlos, and they're trained to basically say that if they don't know exactly, they have to have you pass them up to me. If there's an emergency and you can't get a hold of them, call the facilitator, me, only in an emergency, no one else, not your small group leader. In other words, your peers can't excuse you. They're not trained enough. Okay, number 12, emergencies. If an emergency occurs and I need to be excused from a meeting, what is the protocol? And this is multiple choice. A, leave a message by phone, email, or text with somebody. That's not it. B, tell your phone buddy to inform the group and leaders. B, thank you for playing. C, tell your small group leader or team coach. No. D is the right answer. Clear this by voice contact with your team manager who agrees with you that your emergency warrants being absent. If not, keep your agreement to attend. Remember, you are agreeing now, ahead of time, that if we don't let you out of it, you can be counted on to be here, no matter how emotional, irrational, etc., you are. Okay? Okay. Everybody do me a favor. I'm going to give you 45 seconds, and I want everybody to act out for 45 seconds that you are a 3-year-old playing a practical joke. Go.
I'm not wearing a bra.
Have a seat. For those of you who were at the brunch yesterday, that's called using the physiology to change the state, you know, so that you don't just stay in your head and get bored and all that stuff. Okay, agreements operating with integrity. When I want to ask to be let out of an agreement, what specific language should I use to make sure the other party is not dumped in the soup and I remain in integrity? Multiple choice. Apologize, tell them your circumstances, and tell them you won't be able to keep your agreement. Be dramatic and give them the message that they really need to support you without asking if what works for them. C, express yourself 100% and ask, putting your whole heart on the line, if you may be let out of the agreement. You will know you hit the mark if the other person has the space to give you more than one answer.
Yes.
Keep the original agreement if their answer is no. Most of the time when you guys think you're asking at 100%, and you'll learn this in the awakening, and if you've been through the awakening, remember one of the first exercises about what does it mean to ask at 100%. If I ask at 100%, I'm not conning, I'm not manipulating, I'm not twisting their arm. I'm literally asking as if they have the right to say yes or no. If they don't have the space to say no, I'm not asking. I'm some version of demanding. Do y'all get what I mean? Okay.
But if they say no?
Then you have to keep that agreement. Because you've already agreed.
But at least you're satisfied.
Yes. That's right. Okay, number 14, if you're out on any agreement, who is ultimately responsible for clearing you? And, oh, Jason, question?
Sorry, back on that one. You said, so you asked them if they can give you an honest answer?
If they could let you out of the agreement or renegotiate it.
And if they say no, then you go?
You have to say, or you can count on me to keep the agreement that we made. Who is ultimately responsible for clearing you and by when? Answer, you are. A master can be counted on to clear themselves using whatever support they need. The small group leaders, team coaches, team managers are only there to facilitate and support you to the level that you choose to win. Now, when I show up at a meeting, I will offer volunteers a very high-level game, okay? So I'm leading the meeting that week. And sometime during the night, I might say, okay, who wants a higher-level game on agreements? So Renee stands up and goes, I would. Great. I said, terrific. What agreement have you broken in the last week or two? Okay? So she might say, well, I was late to that meeting, or I was late on my payment. I didn't make my payment this month. I said, okay, terrific. Okay, you have 48 hours to make that agreement good, or you owe the Awakening Scholarship Fund $300. And I pick the amount. And of course, that's a volunteer thing. That's only if you want a higher level game. If you're looking to win the Olympics in your dream, that's a higher level game. Because you'll get it really quick like that. You'd like to keep your agreements. Okay. Number 15, if you're out of integrity on any agreement, what needs to happen before the end of the movement to mastery meeting? A, answer, you will plan your appropriate correction or consequence or reward if needed with your leaders and then report back to your leaders upon the agreed upon deadline. So if you're out of integrity on some agreement, you just need to talk to your small group leaders and make sure you tell them what your correction is, if you're going to apply any consequence rewards, and then report back to them when you got it done. That's how you get clear for yourself about your broken agreements.
Sorry, speaking of consequences and rewards, if you guys are having a hard time coming up with those, I'd be happy to help generate some ideas with you. So,
yeah.
Just let you know.
And also, any of the other people who are coaches, which right now is Gary Harrison, Carlos, KC, and we have some other people that are looking at it, so we'll let you know if they come on board. Okay, on-site, off-site agreements, okay? Now let me explain what on-site, off-site is. If you're in the awakening, you're not required to assist or do on-site or off-site because you're a participant, okay? If you're not a participant, by being on this team, one of your requirements is to assist at on-site and off-site. Now, on-site means you're on the team that helps take all this stuff up to the Awakening Lodge and get it all set up, ready for the awakening. Offsite is exactly the opposite. It means that you take all the stuff from the lodge, bring it back here with that group of people and handle that stuff. Okay? So, what if you miss doing offsite? How do you get clear? You clear with your awakening supervisor, which at this point is Laura, and you make up the time by doing some other activity chosen by Laura to make up the lost time, like inventory or cleaning out the garage or whatever. It doesn't work to say, well, I know I wasn't there, but story, I broke my agreement and I'll make a new one. In other words, you can't just apologize. You have to put in the time. Does that make sense? Good. Can you do on-site instead of off-site? Not unless you clear it with Laura ahead of time. Okay? Good. Presentations. Number 18, how many social guest events are required to be in the Movement to Mastery program? Answer, none. They used to have 3 required, then we got it down to 2, then we got it down to 1, and now we don't have it be a requirement.
Can you say that again? What is it?
I don't know what that is.
How many social guest events are required to do in order to be in the Movement to Mastery program? Now remember that the other day I said that everything comes to you through your presence, good or bad. And nothing accelerates your presence like presentations. And I said we have a special document called Social Guest Events, which you can access because it's carefully designed by me for new facilitators to have all the ingredients that you need to have in a presentation. Okay? So it's all designed specially for you. And I said that if you really want to accelerate your presence, you don't want to do the minimum required. You want to do as many as you can let yourself do. If I was going through the program, I'd probably do about 1 a month.
Explain exactly what a social guest
Okay.
is.
Social guest event is you gather any group with 10 people or more. It can be friends and family, it can be a church group, it can be Kiwanis Club, it can be, I've had people do it at schools. There was a teacher who worked in a junior high, so she had her small group come and do a different thing every day for a week, you know. It can be it can be any group that you put together and you do this event. And it's called a social guest event. Okay?
And content, whatever you choose, or
Okay. The social guest event is a document that includes everything that I've designed in the presentation. So you're going to be doing what I designed because it's specially designed for new facilitators.
Okay.
You're going to do some good material and then like the strength shower at the end of it, the small groups, you know, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It'll be the stuff that I give you that's in that event. Good. Thank you. Okay.
Could we take a break so
Yep.
I can get last minute lunch orders and get it faxed off?
We are just about to do that. Okay. So the answer is none. There is a bonus opportunity, a golden one. If you plan on being in front of the room, you want to do as many as you can while you're in the program. Okay. Let's take a break right now, and I will finish these up when we get back. Take a break.
How long?
15-minute break.
I know. I'm gonna trip.
Have a nice trip, Kevin.
She tried.
Sooner the better.
What?
On scheduling offsite, I love volunteering because you got that idea project for us. The sooner the better.
I would say you don't need to contact her until
I think
probably
so. Okay, I was gonna connect you. That's what I was at.
Yeah. Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, you get my thing yesterday.
Yes, I did. Yeah, okay. Hey,
Gary, Gary, did you want something for lunch?
Hello?
Oh.
Wait. Let me.
Okay.
Gotta do it. Give him just a proper hug.
So you like how much?
Well, it depends on what you order.
I'm so excited for you. You're really like.
I gotta
We need to freak out together. I freaked out yesterday. Does that make
good.
you feel any better?
I gotta melt down Victoria. I was like, I cannot do that.
I felt it coming, and I was going to actually make an connection. There was no
focus on myself.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
Um,
So, I was thinking yesterday, so I was like, hey, sister, I love you.
Oh, I know I can do it. It's
Yeah.
just that,
how much teacher?
Energy.
no, I wanna do it right. I don't even know what my problem is.
No, for me,
I just hit you. I'm so sorry.
I appreciate the more I listen to it, I'm out there so much. I'm going to surpass. Absolutely.
I can't even stop it.
Oh, anyway, that's where I'm at. Glad to hear somebody else who better share is nice. And I guess you have great powers of design.
And just for you, just look to our church.
They got all these on back corner, on the right corner.
Not bad, even better.
You can do.
Okay. Well, tell me what I don't need to hear or what I don't want to hear either.
Yeah.
If you don't want the address, you can get just color, right?
Address, whatever you need.
I don't need me, but I prefer to have it. Oh, good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's the only one I do. I don't run, but I will definitely try.
Sweetie, I am so powerful. The way to deal with me is not to say that you won't let me. Because
I will let you, and then I will be here when you come back. Learn to greatly when you come back. How about that? I'll just guilt you into it.
that works. Guilt is always
Yeah.
I'm doing great.
Good.
No, we said go. Hey, Gary, can you do the Facebook thing now for me? The Thrive Leadership Group, stop all those dumb emails from coming to her.
Did you get all the?
Oh, yes, you did 100%.
Take care.
Yeah.
I can write you.
You know what?
Well, should we do that before you send them? Okay. So if you want to, you can leave it to me, and I'll just keep it on my desk. Or you can post it for like when you think that you'll be able to connect about That's how it should be. Like this.
When you posted, I seriously made my soul down when you posted that.
Yeah, it's more one.
I'm like, I'm so proud of her. Like, beautiful.
No, I still want to see it.
No, but I'm like, I hear it. I hear it. So awesome.
Sounds good to me.
I want to be I want to be better about myself.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Doing great.
All right.
Thank you very much.
It's always looking for it.
Yeah.
It's a right now filling out.
I like kind
Okay, noted. Thank you.
what were you showing it up?
Yeah.
How's that weekend?
Hi, how are you?
Like, great.
I love it. I want her to feel so.
You'll find when you do stuff like
I'm not away forever.
that.
I'm used to it.
But I mean, it comes from different sources. It's just kind of the first person.
Now, when you give you notifications, that's about everything else.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. You can't say, oh, you know what? I need so much potassium sodium.
It feels great.
Well, thanks.
No, but I do. Because I've worked my tail off as far as like exercise, but I totally untip the scale. I go home and I just.
She was pretty impressive.
Right now? Okay, I did not. All right.
So, all I'm just saying, where did you go?
No, I know that about myself. I would have to plan ahead to have a good. I would have to do like overnight oatmeal or yeah. I just that's what I need to work on is figuring out a plan and actually. Yes. Yes, I would.
Everybody's best friend, please.
I would love to actually take all this work that I work toward and actually keep it when I go through this. Okay. I will. I can take others like that. I don't know if I'm ready to step into that, but I don't. I'm gonna put myself in there. I don't feel like I have enough. It's a very limited space that I know.
Yeah, I read that when I read that.
You're saying
Yes.
Are you going to do?
I don't know. I just want to have it all stories. Yeah.
If you don't mind. Yeah,
No, you can feel it. Like, Linda, how is Gary wanted me to check in with you to see how your decision was? I won't know until I get the call from work. Okay, and that won't be till Friday time. Oh, and yeah, I got cleared to go back to work, and I told I didn't have to. The schedule I have right now, and I think it's still mine, would not allow it. Because it's Sunday through Thursday, every day, but it's 3:30 and 10:30. And I don't want to spend the next 5 months trying to get time off and swap that.
It's like,
I was just telling you, 3 times in September to get the off.
yeah, it's weird. It's really weird.
You know, and if I knew if I got this stuff in my knees right now about my schedule, and the money issues, but right now it's
Oh, wow.
it's like the awakening is not a part. It's like getting my focus. So it doesn't matter what I'm concerned about. I looked at that and I thought, every month I would go through, gee, we just for Thursday. I don't want. Okay. One time when I was in the Great Lakes, I couldn't do everything. Like, no matter what I tried, I couldn't get off the phone. I had to. I was like, I'm not going to quit my job. You know, I mean, sorry, that's not. Agreements are agreements, but. Yeah, understand. So anyways, we'll see what the, if, it's a real frustrating thing because the people I wait to hear from are people that I don't think know. And I know they know, they have to know something because they're in that position they're in. But I don't respect them. And so
I don't know when.
And that's
And
one
I don't know what
thing.
shift I'm on. That was the thing when they told me I might not have the shift I've been on. I have been there. I thought, but that means other shifts are
Hear
open.
that, you know, I mean, like I.
So there might be something open that works beautifully. So, so I know. I'll set an intention with you. Yeah. And then I have to go to the next category of money. The right first category is time. So it's not just at my whim.
Fear has always really hard. And yeah, and so I realized I have negated so much stuff and the opportunities that come if I had taken that course a long time ago. You know, I would already have my career. I could already fly. And no, I know, but that's the thing is all of the opportunities that
All right, how
I
much
could have
time do you
already
have?
experienced. Huh?
You got 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Fuel me, but it gives me it gives me a perspective to say, okay, I don't want to be another 20 years in the future and go, why am I still wanting my pilot's license? Yeah, I mean, like I it's like, you know, I talk to people and they're like, oh yeah, I really knew. I'm like, really? You know, like why are you not doing it? And just losing that that fear.
It's cooking for where it's
I don't know what's on that. It's weird for me because algorithm everything is like they could be always and now it's just gauge.
Well, I'm afraid for me the fear, I realized last night why I'm having all this hold on.
When you come in, this is this is.
I'm great to make commitments with other people.
Every single day we
It's
make the bread.
commitments to myself. I always sell out.
Everything starts. You're gonna feel
What you do is very authentic because it makes them shine. It's perfect.
Very
Yeah,
I know.
But that's
I
the
know.
thing, yeah. And when you follow that through, it's like
I have like unrealistic expectations for my career. You gotta do everything perfect, and you gotta do it first time perfect.
That olive green is really pretty with your skin.
Are the water. Every drop is meticulously tended. Atop the winding hill on the highest peak in sight is Doder Vineyard, a list preserved and honored one of the most cherished.
One minute.
This is like February. You know, I finished my daughter.
like what's water? I think we last time
I'm so powerful. I'm surprised. Our bodies. Think about that. Yeah. Maybe the water.
Oh yeah,
Time.
Turn down the music. Thank you, Ernest. Okay, let's continue with the quiz. Who determines how much fun you have, how far you fly, and the results at the end of your Movement to Mastery program? Answer: you do. Assisting at the awakening. What is required for assisting at the awakening? Although it is required, this is a get to more than a have to. It is incredibly valuable to catapult your goals and your dreams to assist at the awakening. Okay, let me say a little bit about that. There is an evening we do for people in Movement to Mastery, and even though some of the people are participants in the awakening, so they're not going to assist, it's a phenomenally powerful evening. It's called the Game of Service. And we explain how over the years I've learned a lot about energy and energetics and how the assistants at the back of the room make all the difference in the world. Like one year, it was the second awakening, and the room was dead. And it was like pulling teeth. And I couldn't figure it out. But then I looked at the assistants and I noticed they were dead. Their space was really shut down and unconscious. And so I said, let's take a break. And I got all the assistants in the room and I said, I don't know, but intuitively, I think that something about what's in your space is affecting the participants. So I want to hear all of your broken agreements, all of your personality conflicts, whatever's negative that's in your space, I want it on the table now. And slowly but surely, people started telling the truth. And pretty soon it all came out, and you could see them start to get alive again. And then we brought the participants back in, and it was like somebody had broken a dam. Sharing and insights and ahas and emotions. I mean, it was beautiful.
So by talking to your helpers,
yeah,
and having them verbalize their shit,
yeah,
that allowed them to have a better space?
Yes, it cleared the energy. And I began to know the connection, I mean, between all people, but certainly people who are in a service role. When they're blocked, it's kind of like the energy comes through the space person, goes through the participants, comes through me, goes back to the participants, and then goes through all the people who are on the team, and then back around again, like that. Doesn't feel great. Okay? So if I'm trying to create space, and I've got, 8 or 10 people on the team, and this person has a broken agreement and they're not talking about it, and this person has a personality conflict and they're not talking about it, and this person and this person and this person, you've got space coming through 2 people. Mm-hmm. So when they assist at the awakening, we don't even let them in the room until they go through a really detailed clearing process. Is there anything out between you and whatever? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so one of the agreements that we signed was if we got stuff going on, to bring it up.
Right. Right. Well, and especially at the awakening. So what I'm saying is, if you're a participant in the awakening, this won't apply to you until next year or the next awakening. But if you're assisting, you just want to know that it's incredibly valuable because every role at the awakening has its own value. And there's actually a handout we give you that shows you what's the value of being on music. What's the value of being in the logistics position? What's the value of being in space? Like I've almost never seen somebody take on space for more than a couple of shifts and have it not change their life. It's amazing to watch. Okay?
How do you put value?
How do you put a value on those roles?
Yeah. I mean, is it a number or is it stars or is it?
No, what I'm saying is, like for example, person on music, their value is being visible.
Okay.
So how would it help any of you to have the opportunity to be more visible?
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Because you say value, and I think $1, or I think it's star.
I got it. I got it. Okay.
Okay.
Like I've had, see, all the energy comes through the space person.
Right.
So when I train the space people, and some of my people are phenomenal at energy and space and all that, and so like I've had people who sat in the space chair and they wanted to kind of experiment and play with it because I told them how this works. So they'd say, okay, this half of the room, you don't get to share for a little bit. And so they wouldn't raise their hands. It's like what I said with Tom Bernard, where he just said he created a V in the theater and nobody sat there, right? And then the person forgot and then went, oh, wait, you can share now. And then the hand shoot up. You know, if I have somebody in the space chair, like I remember a certain person, I won't say his name, but his energy is kind of like, and the whole group starts going like this. Whereas if I have certain guys, like I remember Steve Lodge, is like, he's laser-like. And the team is focused. You understand? So in that particular role, like last year, KC invented this phenomenal process for assistant well-being to help them connect their dream or vision to the role they were playing. And everybody who was assisting just raved about the most common comment I get from people who assist for the first time is, wow, I thought I would just be helping. I'm getting more out of this awakening than I did when I went through it. You know what I mean? It's a different role. It's a different set of value. So I'm just letting you know, this is a get to, not a have to. Okay? And you get to source a position if Laura has room. She will allow you to source a position at phase 1 and phase 2, unless the roles are filled, to source either space, logistics, music, food, administration, participant well-being, assistant well-being, facilitator well-being, etc. This includes doing my best, hitting the mark, and being sure that my area is staffed throughout the retreat, or I cover the position. Like, for example, let's say that Leslie is source of assistant well-being. That means that she's responsible for making sure that all through the awakening, somebody is in that role. She doesn't even necessarily have to be there. She could just make sure that other people are taking those slots. Or she can say, well, I'll schedule myself for this or that. But if somebody dumps her in the soup because she doesn't speak with certainty or listen for certainty, and someone says, yeah, sure, I'll be there, and she doesn't call them on it, that means if they don't show up, she's got to be there.
So the awakening takes place at another place and we're there that entire time?
Yeah. Well, basically on the phase 1, you're here Friday night in this office and part of Saturday. No, all of Saturday and then a little bit of Sunday morning, and then we go to the lodge in Springville or wherever it is. Okay? Then you're there till Wednesday night.
Okay.
Phase 2, you're here Wednesday night, part of Thursday morning, and then we go to the lodge and you're there the whole time until Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
Okay? And the post meetings are always here. Good. Okay. Any questions about that?
Is there a space chair for this right now?
Yeah.
You see the name tags that say space?
I get it. And you don't have to be spacey to be in space.
Space
Probably helps.
If any of you are energy workers, you're going to love watching what we do at the Awakening with Space, because let me tell you, it is off the charts. Off the charts. Okay, participant support. Number 24, since support for the awakening participants is an awakening job, who on this team is required to do awakening participant support? Now, let me tell you what participant support is. Kevin signed up for the awakening, Jason, Renee, Kira, they all signed up for the awakening, Kevin, and so then somebody's going to call them, we're going to send out their packet, someone's going to call them and say, how you doing? You got your music together, you got your goals together, you know, you're handling your money, you know, like that. That's called participant support. And it's a vital role because about, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks before the awakening, almost everybody, not everybody, almost everybody goes, what did I sign up for? And subconsciously their stuff starts to work them. You know what I mean? So they want to drop out.
Like I tried to drop out.
Today. And so basically, this person is incredibly vital because if they have a sense that this person needs help, and they can't help them stay in the game, they've got to pass them up immediately to me or Lori or somebody who can facilitate them through it. Okay? That's an incredibly vital role. So the answer to that question is no one. It is an opportunity and a privilege for those of you who see yourself as blossoming into a coach, a facilitator, seminar leader, etc., etc. If that awakening participant was your father, mother, daughter, would you want to do a good job? Once you get good at it, it's a paying position. Sign the paper that will go around and sign up if you want that opportunity. Okay? Okay, next category. How to quit the Movement to Mastery program with integrity. How does one quit this program legitimately, and what are the 4 steps to moving on with honor? If you don't sign a contract, there's no issue. Once you sign it, we are bound by our integrity to support you in keeping your integrity. Since this is a no-exits game, it's very difficult to legitimately be released from your agreement. In the unlikely event that it is legitimate, these are the steps that must be taken. Number 1, you come to the Movement to Mastery facilitator, which is me this round. By the way, I just want you to know, it is possible that when this money comes in, this may be the last year I'll be facilitating this program. Just letting you know. Just letting you be aware. And you want to ask, don't tell, if it can work for a Rise Leadership Group to let you out of your agreement. Assure them that if they decide it's not in their integrity to let you out of it, you can be counted on to keep your agreement. Number 2, the Movement to Mastery facilitator will review the situation and decide, not based on what they want, but based on their own integrity of what will work for the program and for you, whether or not it works to let you out of the program. And by the way, it's very rare that we let anybody out of the program. I think I remember in the last 20 years, something like 1 or 2 people who got let out of it. In a sticky situation, the advisory board can mediate. Then they will either let you out of your agreement or hold you to it, in which case, to keep your own integrity, you must keep your agreement and complete the program no matter what it feels like or what you think you want. Number 5, if you refuse to complete the program, you are still responsible to keep your financial agreement for the complete program, and you may not be allowed to participate in future programs like assisting at the awakening, etc., until you clear with staff that you're making good on your agreement. Now that's a hard situation because I've had people in the past who had been trying to enroll their brother or their son or daughter, whatever, into the awakening, had some trouble, and then they quit the program before they graduated, right? And now their son or daughter says, I want to do the awakening. So now their son or daughter can do the awakening, but they can't be there and assist because they're out of integrity. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you don't want to risk that.
You jump from 2 to 5.
We're skipping some parts that we'll do later.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. Thank you. Next category, Gary's intellectual property. How many of you think you might be interested in creating your own seminars and think that someday you might want to use some of Gary's process or principles in your seminar? Raise your hand. Excellent. Okay. There is a list that we have in the computer we can send you of everything that we use in our seminars that anybody can use, like visualizations and certain things, right? Also, there's a list of other people's personal intellectual property that we use with their permission. Like there are several processes I do that I have permission from Werner Erhard's landmark education programs, and I have special permission. Like when I took my first S seminar, I argued with the trainer for about, 10 or 15 minutes about why I wanted permission to be able to use stuff I thought would be good for my clients. And at some point, he said, look, we're taking too much time on this. So look, here's what I'm going to tell you. Gary is the only human being in this room who gets to use this material. The rest of you do not. So and I've called them since then and clarified that and all that. So what is necessary to use Gary's intellectual property? Simple. Contact Gary, negotiate a small percentage of the income collected. So like, for example, if you're doing something for a church or whatever and you're not going to charge money, all I want you to do is contact me so I can guide you in how to do it well. Because I've had teachers who thought this would be fun stuff to use in a classroom, but they never called me to get guidance about how to do it. They screwed it up. Parents got upset. Now I go into the Board of Education. They go, oh, you're that guy that parents have complained about. No interest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you're going to do your own seminars, I have lots of people out there who use my stuff, and they, you know, I basically negotiate with them and say, tell me what it's worth to you. And almost always I just say, great, whatever. Sounds good. Have fun. Do it.
Gary, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
You said there was a list of things that
Yeah.
you. Where's that list?
In my computer.
In your computer. So that. Okay. So just ask me. Okay.
Then I email it to you. You know what, Gary? Let's put that on the website.
Okay.
That's not a big deal, you know. That way they can have it. They don't have to email me. Okay.
Question?
Yeah. Gail.
So you have a bunch that we can just use, so it'll be on the website, and then you have some additional stuff that we need to ask them to do a percentage.
Well, there's 3 categories. There's stuff anybody can use. There's stuff that I got from other people that you can't use without their permission. You have to go to them. Some stuff from Megan, some stuff from other people I've worked with. It's their stuff. And then there's my stuff, which you have to ask me to use. Yeah. Okay, get a partner, share with your partner any thoughts or feelings about the agreements we just finished talking about. Go.
Yeah.
Always on.
I was supposed to yesterday, so I'm not. Okay, tell me that one more time, I'm sorry.
I think that using this more than
Who I need to let?
Okay, wrap it up.
keeps me focused on the work.
It's really you need to choose it.
Okay, stop.
Here, do you want to explain this sheet coming around?
Oh yeah, remember I said if you want the opportunity to be a good coach, facilitator, healer, et cetera, that the opportunity to be a participant support person for the people in the awakening is a real golden opportunity, and you don't have to worry, because if you can't facilitate them, you just pass them up and we take over, okay? But that's the sign-up sheet. So if you want the opportunity, sign the sign-up sheet.
If you're a participant, you don't.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, just making clear.
You can support each other.
Yeah, you can support each other.
You will support each other.
Yes.
Will we get, Gary, if we don't sign that now and we want to check in with ourselves, will we have time to possibly sign that again? Or is this like a?
Pretty
do
much
it
any
now?
time.
Okay, thank you.
Until about April. Yeah.
So phase one, there is a phase one in April.
June.
No, there is a tentative phase one in April, depending on how many people we get signed up.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And right now, it's not looking so good, although we have another relationships course. And you never know, we could just have a bunch of people sign up and go, great, we'll do April. Yeah.
Okay.
As part of movement to mastery, if you've already done the awakening, didn't we commit to being part of the awakening,
To assist.
to assist? So
Right.
we've already made a commitment to do that, if you've already been.
Well, and that's part of movement to mastery. In other words, if you've done the awakening and you're in movement to mastery, you automatically are assisting at the awakening, and if there's room, you get to source a position.
And this happens to be something in addition to assisting at the
Yes, this is the calls you make to the participants before the awakening to try to make sure that they stay in the game. This isn't for assisting. This is for being a part of participant support.
Okay.
Good.
This is the same job Carol did, and she did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes. Okay, now I want you to get a partner and sit knee to knee, face to face. Go.
Okay, are you ready? Let's see what we can do.
Here you go.
Let's see what we can do here.
It's okay.
Okay, let me give you instructions now. You're going to pair up, you're going to get centered, present, and in the other person's world. Pick an A and a B. Everybody. Okay. Person A is going to say something, anything that is going on with them lately. Doesn't matter what. Then person B is going to recreate, say back to them what person A said exactly. And person B is also going to declare how person A was being as they said it. Person A is going to say pass or no pass if they don't feel like they were gotten. Then you're going to repeat it. Same person speaking, same person listening and recreating. Okay?
Person A, we're saying
Whatever's going on with you lately.
whatever.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Person B says it back to them, what they said exactly, and how person A was being. Then person A says pass or no pass. They do it over again.
What does it mean when person B says what person A was being?
You're being sad. You're being frustrated. You're being determined. You know, you're identifying where they're coming from. Okay, ready, go. Timekeeper. Give me 5. Start now, and then you signal me 30 seconds ahead, and then I'll call. You're having a really fun day, and the weather is kind of disheartening. And
History, I really do. I feel so yes.
Can we send those people a message? Yeah. Isn't that great? On the matrix. You said just try to.
Your state of your state
Okay, so,
So first idea
I got
your
the energy.
first idea having frustration for years of your life.
Very little really changes.
No, I love that.
Yeah. 30 seconds.
What you want to create. And so what I see it is not only is going on, the energy is customized. But you're also, I don't like that. I guess the reason why I did it,
saw the demonstrations of the fuel situation. Volunteer getting up for teaching. Pull it up.
No.
And everybody realizes it's pretty great to do that.
What did I do?
Okay. When they're done with this, we're going to play karate kids.
Okay. You've done creation before, but this is massive creation. And so you come from that. It's very difficult. Yeah, but still, when they say you're back,
Probably, I got to put them together because I got
making those choices.
Okay, I'm gonna
And being actual is a very specific emotional, psychological, physical, spiritual.
I didn't call time again. Shoot, you guys gotta wait. Okay, stop. I thought I had already had you switch partners. Turns out I only gave you 30 seconds and then called time. So my mess up. Go ahead and switch partners now. Go ahead and let the other person speak and the other person listen.
Has everybody already switched?
No.
Go ahead and switch if you haven't. Go. Yeah, I forget to tell people that. You know, when I'm doing this way,
so if I talk to moving with mastery, so I'm manifesting money from the wide simple spiritual
But on the other hand, you're setting up corporations that you are into and I hope that you wrote down what I told you because I don't remember it besides the possibility. Because that wasn't me.
That was the other song. Right.
I will get right. There is a
30 seconds.
there is
Okay, so.
making, in your case, corporation. I would suggest okay, I will, this is not me teaching. This is something comes into my mind. Is that this is now what I have
Okay, acknowledge your partner.
Yes. See, what I did just a second ago was go to my
Okay, I will take some shares. Raise your hand, I'll call on you. What did you notice or discover? Jamie? Quiet.
That, at least with us, I tend to pick up a lot of the nonverbal things that I thought she was saying.
You can stay in front of your partner because you're going to go back to another exercise in front of your partner. Just go ahead.
Part of the communication was more than just words to me. I was interpreting things based on what else I was getting.
Yes.
Accurate or not, I mean, it's obviously going through my lens, but clearly I was modifying the message more than just words.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, in the workshop called Pinnacles of Presentation, you'll do an exercise about tone of voice where you'll discover that communication really has almost nothing to do with the words that they're saying. And even when I have you communicate messages where you're opening your mouth but nothing is coming out, you will get it. It's amazing.
Cool.
It's more with my antenna talking to your antenna.
Yeah.
Good. Acknowledge. Somebody else. Okay.
On the last time when she was mentioning one of the things that was bothering her, I felt an amazing amount of space created from Marie and how much love that I felt from her, that it suddenly clicked about what she was feeling.
Yes.
The amount of space that was just there, and it was just...
I got it too.
Beautiful. Way to go. Acknowledge. Okay, in a minute you're going to go back to doing an exercise with your partner. But for now, I just want you to get wherever you can see the video. This is from the original Karate Kid, where he learns that his coach is doing things that he's not aware of or conscious of, but really make a difference. Go.
No, You're good. I've got a foot between your head and yours, but you're good.
To fight and respect, then nobody bother.
Hell, they'll bury me where I fall.
Either way, problem solved. Wait right here. Hey,
Oh, Mr. Miyagi, I tried to give this back to you last night.
you keep.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Sir, ready?
Yeah, I guess so.
And your son must talk. Walk on the road. Walk right side, safe. Walk left side, safe. Walk middle. Sooner or later, get the squish just like grape. Here, karate, same thing. Either you karate do yes, or karate do no. You karate do guess so. Just like grape. Understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Now ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yes. Let's make sacred pact. I promise teach karate. That's my pact. You promise learn. I say you do. No question. That's your pact. Deal?
Deal.
First wash all the car. Then wax. Wax.
What do I have to watch that car?
Remember deal. No question.
Yeah, but
Right? Wax on, right hand. Wax off, left hand. Wax on, wax off. Breathe in through nose, out the mouth. Wax on, wax off. Don't forget to breathe. Very important. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off.
Hey, where these cars come from?
Wax on. Detroit. Wax on. Right hand, make a circle. Wax off. Left hand, circle. Wax on. Wax off. Breathe in. Breathe out. Wax on. Wax off.
He's using conscious repetition to create body memory.
On.
Just like when you do your new skills.
Wow, this is beautiful. Hey, Mr. Miyagi, this is great, man. You got real fish in it. This is outrageous. Man, I thought Chung Lee's Chinese restaurant was nice. You can beat his eye. Look at this. This is paradise. You do this yourself? These bongos? I got it. Happy Krishna, Happy Krishna.
You much human.
What are these?
Japanese thunder.
What do you do with them?
Funny you should ask. Right the circle. Left the circle.
Wait, what do you go back and forth?
But you go circle. Right the circle. Left the circle. Very good. Window, go. Well,
I'm finished. Yesterday I got beat my shoulders.
good. Go home, get rest. Come morning, start early, 6 o'clock.
Hey, Mr. Miyagi, look.
You begin a luck.
Yeah, I guess that means I could accomplish anything, huh, Mr. Miyagi?
Right?
No sweat.
At first, you accomplish in defense. Okay? Bracket or in the wrist. Wrist up, down, wrist or in the wrist. Up, down, long stroke. Very good. Up, down, and no, look me, look fence. Up, down, then the wrist, down stroke, then the thing. Good, long stroke. Up, down, very good. Knee, then the knee come down. Up, yes, very good. And just don't forget to breathe. In, up, down, yes, up, down, up, down, up, down. Very good. And your son. Up, down, up, down. And then small board left hand, big board right hand.
But I'm from start.
All the fins. Board right hand, small board left hand. Up, down, up,
Sometimes it doesn't make sense what your coach is giving you.
Oh, Daniel sir, very good jump. Come on, start early.
Damn it! Can't believe this.
Oh, Miss Stunt.
What spot? Hey, how come you didn't tell me you were going fishing?
You're not here when I go.
Well, maybe I won't want to go. You ever think of that?
You're karate training.
I'm what? I'm being your goddamn slave before I'm being, man. Now, we made a deal here.
So?
So you're supposed to teach and I'm supposed to learn, remember? For 4 days, I've been busting my ass. I don't want a goddamn thing.
You learn plenty.
I learned plenty. I learned how to sing, paint your decks, maybe I'd wash your car, paint your house, paint your fence. I learned plenty bricks.
Not everything is as simple.
Oh, bullshit. I'm going home, man.
Daniel-san! Daniel-san!
What?
Come here. Show me sand the floor.
I can't move my arm, all right? What are you doing? Wait. Ow! Ow, what are you doing?
Now show me sand the floor.
How did you do that?
Shut up!
Second floor.
Hey, stand up. Show me sand the floor. Sand the floor. Sand the floor. Big circle. Sand the floor. Sand the floor. Yes. Now show me wax on, wax off. Hey.
Wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax off. Hey. Wax on, wax off. Concentrate. Look at my eye. Lock a hand. Thumb inside. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. Yes. Show me paint the fence. Up, down. Up, down. Up, down. Other side. Look eye. Always look eye. Show me paint the house. Side, side. Knucklist. Side, side. Side, side. Yes. Show me wax on, wax off. Jack! 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 Show me paint the fence. Jack! Face! Jack! Jack! Show me side to side. Jack! 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 Show me sand on the floor. Jack! Jack! Face! Face! Wait. Look, I always look, I come back tomorrow.
You come to your coach and you're really dedicated and committed. You say, Coach, I want to break the 4-minute mile. And your coach says, good, meet me at the beach tomorrow. And your coach has you run up and down sand dunes. And you go, Coach, I thought this was track. And you don't understand what your coach is giving you, but you need to decide if you can trust your coach or get a different coach. Because a lot of times your coach is going to give you stuff that won't make rational sense to you, but it makes a lot of sense if you understand what the coach knows. Okay, so sit facing your partner again.
Has everybody had a chance to sign the sheet?
Yes. Now you're going to do an exercise. This skill is something that will help you to overcome any resistance to doing something that you know would produce good results, but you find yourself resisting it, procrastinating about it. It can help you overcome procrastination. It can also help you overcome negative emotions. It's called embracing the brat. Okay? So, you're going to criticize your partner as if your partner is you. And you're going to criticize your partner the way you criticize yourself. And your partner is going to see how much they can be a brat, how loud, how vehement, how irrational. Shut up, I don't care, get off my back, I'll never be vulnerable, you're not the boss of me, you'll never take me alive, coppers. You know what I mean? You just have fun being a brat. And it's a contest to see who can be the biggest brat. Okay?
So one person is like the critical, like either parent, whatever it is in your head that
Criticizes you.
criticizes you, and the other person
Is the brat.
Your inner brat.
And we're going to go, this time we're going to go back and forth. So you're going to criticize and they'll be a brat, then they'll criticize themselves in you and you'll be the brat. So you're going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Marie?
I don't know if this may be helpful for some of you guys, but there is the use of therapeutic swearing. So just so you're aware,
Yeah, in some exercises, in some contexts, like usually when people are sharing in the group, I like to keep it PG-13. But in exercises like this, where you're doing emotional releasing, it's fine to use what we call the therapeutic use of swearing, just like when you do a breakthrough up at the awakening. Okay?
That just always helped me, so I just want to let you guys know.
Leslie?
But when you're a brat, you're a kid.
Yeah.
And so how does swearing fit into being a kid? I mean.
It can be at any age.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Ready?
Wait, who's who?
See who you can. It doesn't matter. You start with anybody because you're going to rotate.
Are you gonna tell us when to rotate, or we just go back and forth ourselves?
Listen, everybody, listen. Ask again, and everybody answer her question to see how many of you were paying attention.
Are you gonna tell us when to rotate, or do we go back and forth ourselves?
Just
go back and forth.
Okay. See who can be the biggest brat. It's a contest. Who can be the most loud, most vehement, most irrational, etc., etc. Go.
You're just totally. You'll never
I am too. Other people love me. I'm so positive. I don't care what you say. You can just go take a leak. Take a leak. I don't care. Whatever. Whatever. His house. You know what you're talking about. I'm cool. I'm loved. I do shit like this. And people love me. I don't have to tell you.
Oh, you're saying something? Oh.
Yeah, you were right. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, take that.
Yeah, you're getting into it.
Yeah. Great. I don't care. I can take my time. Thank you.
That was so much fun.
You don't get to tell me! I don't want to listen! I don't have to listen! You don't decide. I'm done.
You can't talk to me like that. You would talk to me like that. I called you for it.
Don't control my life! I don't want to hear it anymore! Shut your mouth!
I'm just there. Slight tap.
Why bother trying to just you fall flat on your face, get up, and then you fall flat on your face. That's fall flat on your face. It's not worth it. Get up and fall flat on your face. Why bother you?
Get up! I can do whatever I want!
Fall back down. Fall back down again. I can get up and fall back down. Fall back
We'll do two more.
Or are you just so enamored by it? No, you're just right. So one of her so when we're doing this, and then she ends up stopping because I'm talking over her, and then she gets back literally first thing that happened on her tree. So then
Acknowledge your partner.
when it comes to the real world, you're gonna have to figure
Acknowledge your partner.
Okay, I'll take a share or two. What'd you notice or discover?
I noticed that they're a different brat than I was. You know, they were their own brat, which I thought was really interesting. So I got insight into like their challenges.
Right.
Not necessarily mine as much, except for when I was saying it, and then I would get a more know what my challenges were. It was the opposite of what I thought would happen.
Exactly. Good job. Acknowledge. Go ahead, Linda.
I thought it was really freeing and fun to say the things you never could say when your parents were lecturing you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's what I kind of like. That's damn cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Acknowledge. Lovely.
I thought it was fun also, but I really had a hard time communicating what it was that I really wanted to communicate when I was a critical parent.
Uh-huh.
I had a really hard time communicating a sweetheart message that was really being gotten by somebody that was being a brat, that was being so sarcastic and just not there for.
Well, I'm curious, what made you think you were supposed to give him a sweetheart message?
Well, as maybe I didn't understand the exercise, but being critical as a critical parent, it helped me realize how that's not a good way to communicate.
Right, that's what I wanted you to do. I
communicate at
wanted you
all.
to do a not good way to communicate.
Right. Well,
I
found
wanted
that
you to beat
extremely
yourself up.
frustrating. I found it extremely frustrating.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to make sure you understand. I wanted you guys not to be nice. I wanted you to be mean like you are to yourself all the time.
It came across.
Good. Good job. Acknowledge.
I found this to be a challenging exercise because I would let him like win each round. Like when I was being critical and he was being a brat and he would just like totally overpower me and I would just like shut up because I'm like, well, you just won. And then like when I'm being a brat and he's criticizing me, I was just like, yeah, like, like, and I like wasn't really getting into being a brat. And I realized like my emotional black hole is being like unworthy and that I like wasn't even like worthy of doing this exercise like fully, and I was like copping out and letting
Good.
him win.
Since you have Rodette on, what's the payoff? What are you hoping to gain or avoid by being so mousy and kissing ass and doing whatever they want instead of what you want?
I don't ever have to have somebody get mad at me.
Mm-hmm. So you're avoiding them getting mad at you. Anything else? Hoping to avoid or hoping to gain?
I'm avoiding being wrong, saying something wrong.
So even though he's criticizing you and making you wrong, you think if you buckle under, then you won't be more wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Good. How does that feel?
Feels kind of stupid.
Yeah. So if I was working with you, I'd have you really get in touch with how painful that is.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd have you do this exercise a lot until you can actually be a real good brat. You need to be a really good brat for consistently for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So you can retrain your body and realize your body can know that it's safe. That it's okay for you to draw boundaries and say no and tell people, no, it's important what I want as well. Good job, Kira. Acknowledge.
I did find an argumentative pattern coming out that was sort of unconscious. Like I didn't realize. I feel like it was like my parents speaking through me, and it was like when I argue sometimes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm that pattern, and I just like saw it, and I was like, I had no idea it sounded exactly like like
Yeah,
my
yeah.
dad, and like this is not good. And it was some of it was really like terrible and like hard to hear myself say, and so it was.
Yeah, it's an eye-opener to realize that when you perceive the world, you perceive it through the child. But when you mistreat the world, you become one of your parents.
Yeah.
So what other people see in you is what you saw in mom or dad when they were mistreating you.
Can you say that slow for me?
Yes.
You perceive the world through the child's eyes, but when you mistreat the world, you go into one of your critical parents. You become either your mom or dad, because by the time you're 2, you've learned all your parents' quirks and what to do and who wins and how to do what they do to get what you want.
So if you are having a battle between your parent and your child, like in our group, it seemed like the brat was winning.
Thank you.
Whoever could be the biggest brat won. So does that mean in your life, if you push your child down enough that it becomes a brat, the brat will always win?
No, not necessarily. Kira's a good example of that. The truth is that if you do enough empowerment dialogue, you'll begin to wake up and realize that the kid has been succumbing and selling out and putting up with, and that the brat is a great way to lead them to the place where they finally go, you know what, no more. I'm not willing to tolerate this anymore. And that's a glorious day. That's really when everything changes. And for a few sessions, the parent will keep trying to do their old way, and the kid will say, stop. You don't get to talk to me like that anymore. And once that happens, then they start to have a new relationship. You know, it becomes, instead of critic and wimp, it becomes, or resentful wimp and acting out bratty wimp, it becomes coach and kid.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. Acknowledge. Okay, go ahead and get back to the bigger circle.
Can I just say how great it was to see y'all act like brats? It was so much fun to watch. Yeah, we just like good scenes.
I was like, man,
Some great mistakes.
Heck yeah.
Gary, I need the awakening slideshow now. Whatever. You can do the one we usually use or the 2012, whatever.
Can we do this year's, last year's?
We somehow, somebody misplaced it between the last workshop. Does anybody who was in last year's awakening happen to have the slideshow in their car or anywhere? If somebody has it at home, I would really appreciate if somebody would bring us, huh? What?
He found it?
It's in the computer.
Your computer is very well organized.
Your computer's more organized than certain people.
But we're not mentioning any names.
No.
So, if you're in the awakening, and share this with Jason when he gets back, okay? I want you to, while you watch the slideshow, I want you to think about what your intention is when you're there. And I'll just mention something quickly. If you say, my awakening is going to be painless and fun and joyful or whatever, okay?
Everybody.
That's what it will be because you say so. Now, if you say it's going to be painless, there will be pain, but it will be experienced as releasing and not painful. So I want you to understand, or at least give it a possibility, that you are so much more powerful than you have any idea, and what you say is so will be so. So while you're watching the slideshow, I want you to start to write down some adjectives for what you intend this experience to be like. If you've already been through the awakening, you can simply anchor in what were some of your better moments and that kind of thing. Okay? Okay. Whenever you're ready, Garrett.
Yes. Bonnie.
Oh.
Music?
Yeah.
If
Big guy there.
Megan.
Woo!
Yeah! I know her.
Amy.
I knew her.
Krista. Wendy.
Rodney.
Rodney.
Yay.
Oh.
Yes!
Get it?
Get it.
Yeah.
Regulators.
Red light. Hard time. Swimming pool.
There.
Well, Jerry. Website. Yeah. Here we are on the stairs in the house. Yeah. Rodney. Yes. Amanda. Robert.
Bubbles.
Bonnie. Before. After. Before. Yes. Sandra. Bradley. Mead. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful woman.
Yes.
On it, girls.
Oh boy. Comes out the inner children. That's Amanda's child. Family.
Father and daughter, mother and son, parents, family, brother and sister, husband and wife, husband and wife,
Yeah.
family, happy camper.
Sweetwater.
Thanks for finding it, Gary.
Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and just upload it.
Good idea. Lights?
Where's just titling that stuff?
Huh?
You always narrate with before, after, and maybe we should put that in there.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Great. I want to take a few shares before we break for lunch. If you want to share about the awakening, just start by short and sweet sharing whatever your consideration was so people understand it's normal to have considerations. Okay? So who would like to share? Lauren,
I was scared out of.
come on up so that people can see on the camera.
I was scared out of my mind.
You waited a year.
I waited a year. It took me a whole year to get there, and it was the most peaceful I've ever been inside of myself after, and most direct experience of love and acceptance for myself that I've ever felt on my 30 years of being on this planet. So, yeah.
Question, most peaceful you ever felt in yourself after?
Correct.
For how long? How long did it last?
So you have this moment of like extended euphoria, and I literally hit. This was after the first phase. Like the second day after I got home, I literally, I wasn't taking care of myself, so I wasn't drinking water, I wasn't working out. You get taken care of while you're up there, so, and you're drained after. So it lasted for me for a couple days of that like crapping rainbows and butterflies feeling and glitter. But I still have, if I check in with myself, it's still there. I obviously still have the self-doubts. It's not like a band, like it's like Gary says, it's not a fix all be all. It's a huge step towards healing all of the resentment, anger, frustration, all of that I had inside, and my constantly beating myself up. So.
Thank you. And I'll address that. Acknowledge. Remind me at lunch and I'll address how that works, what the dynamic of that is, how it lasts, why it lasts, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? Good. Just don't let me forget. Okay. Somebody else want to share about the awakening? Joel?
I've been through many things, including the Sundance. The awakening is the most profound event in my life. It has changed me phenomenally, and I thank you for it.
Beautiful. I'll tell you, I love, every once in a while I get an email or a letter or something from somebody who did the awakening like 10, 15, 20 years ago. And they say that. They say, of all the things I've experienced in my life, that was the most profound week of, or 2 weeks of my entire life. I love hearing that. And some of them, finally, after many years, get their declaration. Like they get it on a whole new level. Okay?
What's a declaration?
Okay, show him.
Oh, why don't you show all of us?
Read it.
Okay.
Now, why don't you
Show the
really
camera
show
and then
us
say it.
Especially when you turn your back on me, I ask you to see me, and if you don't, I will love you unconditionally.
Woo! Yeah!
What happens, Kevin, is in your breakthrough, all your problems, issues like that boil down to a question that you never asked mom or dad. because you didn't want to take a chance that maybe it's true that you're unlovable or worthless or whatever. So at that moment, then you literally lock into place of reality called worthless because you don't push the issue. So then you ask from the child you were at the age you were, and then it pops the bubble. And then we say, would you like? It's because at that moment, then everybody in the world that does anything that's kind of like what mom or dad did, like turning away or ignoring me or whatever, criticizing me, now becomes your mom or dad, and you go into the same black hole. All they have to do is look like they're doing that, and you do the same reaction. So we say, would you like to have a way that you can make a declaration and be invincible even when people do that to you? They go, yeah. So we just turn the question around and say, especially when you, and then whatever mom or dad did, ignore me, criticize me, whatever, and then what they didn't do in the original moment. I ask for your love, I take a stand, whatever. And then unconditional love, and I will never let you go, or I will always love you, whatever, okay? Now, this is fascinating, Kevin. It didn't take me very many years to realize that because that declaration is based on perhaps the biggest moment of their life when they were wounded or devastated, then the declaration becomes the complete antidote for that pattern. So the quality of their life for the rest of their life will depend on their ability to translate that declaration into their daily life. Now think about that for a moment. That is huge. It doesn't get any bigger than that. Thank you. Okay, acknowledge. So, anybody else want to share? Marie?
Can I share about movement to mastery as well, or just the awakening?
Do the awakening for now. We'll share about movement to mastery later.
Okay. So I signed up for the awakening 2 years ago, and then I made it this past year, like Lauren, and freaked out. I was calling Carol and Lori probably twice a day for the 2 weeks building up to it, so I can understand your fears and concerns and all the stuff that comes up. When I went through the awakening, it was just amazing. It was so much fun, so much, like, people were taking care of me. I was pampered. The food was amazing. It's probably some of the best food I've ever had. The love that was in the space, the love that was there, the people who are like waiting on you hand and foot, not just physically but emotionally. Oh, it was so awesome. It was so awesome, and everything that happened for me was great. What I love also is the lava, where you learn how to do the breakthroughs, and that's been life-changing for me. So, I am Marie Denke. The impossible is possible, and miracles happen for me. Especially when you leave me alone, I walk by faith in my magnificence, and I will always love you.
I wish you could have known her 2 years ago. You would really know what a miracle she is today. Good. Gail, you want to share?
Yeah, just I signed up, me and both my children, 2 of my 3 children, and my oldest daughter had died a couple of years before that, and my son the last night said, and he was only 8, 9, I don't know, 10, I can't remember, and he said no, and I got to totally deal with that and respect him for saying, no, I don't want to go with that, Mom. And my daughter went, was 2 years older than him, and just want to share about if you get a chance to take your kids at all. What a huge gift. I have so much guilt about being gone working all the time, but that's one time I had her with me the whole time, and she even now to this day kind of gives me crap about it, me and my hippie stuff. But I know that it somehow is in her. I never raised her in the church. I never raised her to pray. I never did any of those things. I feel bad, but I at least took her there and I paid the money and I got to witness some things through her breakthrough. I think Lori was her breakthrough leader that I had no idea about her. Had no idea she had feelings that I got the chance to address afterwards with her and talk to her about them. She had never ever spoke to me about them. And the brag, she is a singer and she's got an amazing voice. She doesn't let anyone see that. And she sang at the end of the awakening. And do you remember that? Melted the room.
Okay, so we're gonna break for lunch, and I want to remind you, I told you yesterday, but you probably forgot, if anybody who was not signed up when this workshop started was ready to sign up, the moment you're ready to sign up, I want you to stand up and interrupt whatever I'm doing and say, I'm here and I'm ready to live my dream. I want you to make that declaration. Okay, that will help you and others. So we're going to break for lunch, and if you haven't yet signed up and you want to, you certainly can do that over the lunch break for either Movement to Mastery or the Awakening. If you're signed up in Movement to Mastery, you definitely want to join me for lunch. And if you're not signed up in either Movement to Mastery or the Awakening, I think it's a very strong recommendation that you join me for lunch, because what we'll do, we'll support you in getting clear about that decision, okay? So we're going to aim for getting back here by 2:30, which is about an hour and a half, okay?
If you guys in this corner can just scoot your chairs over so you can sit up on tables, that would be great.
You need my membership.
Yeah, just we just need to just get it over this way.
Right in the center. Our chairs over there.
Yeah, we'll eventually be moving chairs over there. So. Probably need the white ones too.
I got it. They added up your check and found out that they were missing the deposit. That amount is actually a deposit. So I'm just letting you know. Thank you.